The throne room of Emperor Thaxor stretched vast and golden, filled with the representatives of 847 conquered species. Each one knew their place, each one understood the natural order of the galaxy. The galactic throne had ruled for 10,000 years, and no one questioned its authority anymore. Today, however, the humans were making noise. Ambassador Park Ji-woo stood before the elevated throne, her dark suit simple compared to the elaborate robes and armor surrounding her. She held a data tablet in steady hands, but her expression showed nothing but calm disappointment. "Your Imperial Majesty," Park said, her voice clear in the vast chamber, "humanity requests fair trade agreements. We ask for protection from the raiding fleets that attack our merchant vessels. We seek partnership, not charity." Emperor Thaxor leaned back in his crystalline throne, his four eyes blinking in sequence. His scaled face showed amusement, nothing more. Around him, the War Council exchanged glances. Some smiled, others made sounds that might have been laughter. "Partnership," the Emperor repeated, tasting the word. "You have been part of galactic civilization for 50 years, human 50 years. Some species in this chamber have served the throne for 6,000 years. What makes you think you deserve equal standing?" Park's jaw tightened slightly, but her voice remained steady. "We deserve it because we are sovereign people. We have built colonies on 14 worlds. We have developed trade with 17 independent species. We have harmed no one and threatened no one. We ask only for respect. Our General Krell, the throne's supreme military commander, stepped forward. His massive frame towered over the human. "Ambassador, respect is earned through strength. Your military consists of outdated ships using fusion drives and kinetic weapons. Your largest vessel masses only 800,000 tons. You are children playing with toys." Park looked up at the general without flinching. "Strength comes in many forms, General. We prefer not to demonstrate all of them." The throne room erupted in genuine laughter. This time, the Emperor himself made a rumbling sound of amusement. Even the other ambassadors, who usually maintained diplomatic silence, allowed themselves small smiles. "Is that a threat?" Thaxor asked, his tone light. "Are you threatening the galactic throne?" "No, Your Majesty," Park replied quietly. "It is a statement of fact. Humanity came to this galaxy seeking friends. We hope to find civilizations that valued cooperation over domination. We see now that we were mistaken about the throne." The Emperor's amusement faded, his eyes narrowed. "You forget yourself, human. The throne does not negotiate with inferiors. We make demands, and the wise comply at and then demand." Park said simply. Doxier gestured, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the throne room. It showed human space, the 14 colony worlds connected by thin trade routes. It looked small, vulnerable, insignificant compared to the vast territories controlled by the throne. "These are our terms," the Emperor announced. "Humanity will accept vassal status under the throne. You will pay annual tribute of 40% of your gross production. You will surrender administrative control of your 3 most developed colony worlds. You will limit your military to system defense forces only. In exchange, the throne will provide protection and allow you to exist." The throne room fell silent. Every species represented there had heard similar terms before. Most had Accepted, those who refused no longer. Existed, Park looked at the holographic display for a long moment, then she looked back at the Emperor, and if we refuse, then the throne will be forced to bring order to your chaotic little corner of space, General Krell said. We will pacify your worlds, we will establish proper governance. We will teach you the price of arrogance, Park nodded slowly, as if this was exactly what she had expected. She touched her data tablet transmitting something. She looked directly at Emperor Thaxeller, and for the first time something cold entered her expression. Humanity rejects your terms entirely. We will not submit, we will not pay tribute, we will not surrender our worlds we came here hoping for. Partners, we are leaving with no illusions. If you choose to attack us, you will discover that your intelligence about humanity is incomplete. Dangerously incomplete. The Emperor stood, his full height dominating the throne room. You dare refuse, you dare threaten us. I threaten nothing, Your Majesty. I simply inform you there is a difference. Park bowed. The gesture, minimal and clearly perfunctory. Humanity wishes you well. We hope wisdom finds you before consequences do. She turned and walked toward the exit. No one stopped her. They were too shocked by the audacity. When the doors closed behind the human ambassador, the War Council erupted into heated discussion. Crush them immediately, one admiral demanded. Make an example, send the Fifth Fleet. Another suggested 10 capital ships should be more than sufficient. General Krell raised a hand for silence. We must consider the optics. If we send too small a force and they resist longer than expected, we look weak. If we send too large a force, we look like we fear them. What do you suggest? The Emperor asked. The Third Royal Armada, Krell replied. 50 capital ships including 3 dreadnoughts. Overwhelming force that still shows restraint. We offer them one final chance to surrender. When they refuse, we demonstrate what happens to those who defy the throne. Thaxior considered this, then nodded. Make it so, but give them 10 standard cycles to reconsider. Let them stew in fear. Let them imagine what is coming, and if they actually have hidden defenses. A younger counselor asked nervously, what if the human was not bluffing? The throne room fell silent for a moment. Then the Emperor laughed and the others joined in. They have been in galactic space for 50 years, Thaler said. Every species we have encountered has shown their full technological capability. Within the first decade, it is impossible to hide advanced technology. The humans use fusion and kinetics because that is all they have. The ambassador was bluffing, hoping to buy time or mercy. General Krell nodded. Our intelligence is thorough, Your Majesty. We have scanned their shipyards, their industrial centers, their research facilities. They are exactly what they appear to be, primitive newcomers who do not understand how the galaxy truly works. Then we will teach them, the Emperor declared. Send the Third Armada. Give the humans their 10 cycles, then show them the price of pride. The War Council dispersed to make preparations. None of them noticed the small detail that should have concerned them. None of them wondered why a species that appeared so primitive would have the confidence to refuse the galactic throne. None of them asked the obvious question, what did humanity know that they did not? 10 cycles began counting down. The Third Royal Armada prepared for what they assumed would be a simple demonstration of power. 50 capital ships gathered their crews confident and their commanders eager for easy glory. Humanity, meanwhile, sent a single, encrypted message to Earth, 3 words. That would change everything. They chose poorly. The colony world of New Busausen hung like a blue jewel against the darkness of space. 3 million humans called it home, living in cities that blended Earth architectural styles with adaptations for the planet's slightly higher gravity. It was peaceful, productive, completely unprepared for war, or so it seemed. Governor Kim Min-soo stood in the planetary command center, watching the threat board with steady eyes. 50 red markers had just entered the system, moving in perfect formation toward New Busausen. The Third Royal Armada had arrived exactly on schedule. All civilian populations to shelters, Kim ordered. Her voice remained calm. Despite the situation, priority evacuation for children and elderly. Everyone else follows emergency protocols. Governor, her defense coordinator said nervously, our orbital platforms cannot stop that fleet. We have 8 defensive satellites with plasma cannons. They have 50 capital ships with shields we cannot penetrate. I know, Kim replied. That is why we are not going to fight them. Clears throat. Then we surrender. I did not say that either. The defense coordinator looked confused, but he had learned not to question the governor when she had that expression. Kim had been appointed to New Busausen specifically because of her performance during the first contact crisis 6 years ago. She had kept her head when others panicked. She would keep it now. The communication system crackled to life. A harsh alien voice filled the command center, broadcasting on all frequencies. Human colony designated New Busausen. This is Commander Vexthal of the Third Royal Armada. You have defied the Galactic throne. You have refused terms of vassalage. This is your final opportunity to surrender. Lower your defensive systems. Prepare to receive throne administrators. Comply within 1 standard hour or face pacification measures. Kim touched the transmit button. Commander Vexthal, this is Governor Kim Min-soo. New Busausen is a sovereign human colony. We reject your demands. We will not surrender. Silence on the other end. Kim could imagine the commander's surprise. Most species capitulated when faced with overwhelming force. Most species were smart enough to recognize they were beaten. Vexthal's voice returned, colder. Now, you understand we have 50 capital ships. You understand your defenses are meaningless. We understand perfectly. Kim said, do you understand that we warned you? Do you understand that you were given every chance to choose peace? Empty words from primitives. Vexthal snarled, you have 30 minutes to reconsider. Then we demonstrate what happens to the foolish. Transmission cut off. Kim's command staff looked at her with worried faces. She pulled up the tactical display, watching the throne fleet begin moving into bombardment formation. They were targeting specific coordinates, buildings that intelligence had identified as military installations. Kim allowed herself a small smile. Those buildings were empty warehouses that humanity had specifically marked with energy signatures resembling weapons. Storage. The throne sensors saw what humanity wanted them to see. Governor, the sensor operator said suddenly, I am detecting spatial anomalies at the edge of the system. Multiple contacts appearing on long-range scanners. Kim leaned forward. Show me the display. Shifted. Small distortions appeared in space. Dozens of them scattered across the system's outer boundary. They looked like sensor ghosts, barely visible readings. That could have been equipment malfunctions. What are they? The defense coordinator asked. Unknown, the sensor operator replied. The signatures do not match anything in our database. They are too small to be ships, but too organized to be natural phenomena. Kim, watch the distortions grow stronger. Open a channel to Commander Vexthal. He needs to see this too. Governor, why would we just do it? The channel opened. Vexthal's face appeared on the screen. His expression annoyed. What do you want, human? Come to beg for mercy? No. Commander, I thought you should know you are not alone in this system anymore. Vexthal frowned. What are you talking about? Check your long-range sensors. Edge of the system, multiple contacts. There was a pause while Vexthal consulted with his own sensor operators. When he looked back at the screen, confusion had replaced annoyance. What are those readings? What have you deployed? Nothing, Kim said truthfully. Those are not ours. Then whose are they? Kim folded her hands on her desk. Commander, when humanity first entered galactic space, we made a choice. We chose to appear weak. We chose to use older technology in our public F-facing vessels. We chose to seem primitive and harmless. What are you saying? I am saying that you never asked the right questions. You assumed we showed you everything. You assumed we had no secrets. You were wrong. The tactical display updated. The spatial distortions were resolving now, becoming clearer as whatever was causing them moved closer. The throne fleet sensors were detecting them too. Kim could see ships breaking formations slightly, weapons tracking toward the unknown contacts. Reveal your defensive platforms, Vexthal demanded. Now those are not defensive platforms. Commander, one of the distortions, larger than the others, appeared to be moving directly toward the throne fleet. As it approached, space around it began to shimmer and bend, light refracted. Strangely, sensors screamed warnings about gravitational distortions that should not exist. What is that? Vexthal's voice had lost its confidence. He was staring at something his instruments could not properly identify. Kim watched the readings with satisfaction. That, Commander, is the reason we came to your Emperor, seeking peace rather than making demands. We tried to spare you. The distortion reached critical distance. Whatever was hiding inside it began dropping its concealment. The cloak field, one of humanity's most closely guarded technologies, dissolved like morning fog. The throne fleet sensors finally got a clear reading. Every alarm on every ship began screaming at once. Impossible, Vexthal whispered. Governor Kim looked at the tactical display showing the vessel that had just revealed itself. It was massive, beyond anything the throne fleet had ever encountered. 5 km of angular, predatory design that made the throne dreadnoughts look like escort frigates. Its hull was dark, absorbing sensor beams rather than reflecting them. Energy readings from its core suggested power generation that should not be possible with any known technology. Commander Kim said quietly, allow me to introduce the TRSS Indomitable Will, Titangent class dreadnought of the Terran Republic Space Service. She is commanded by Captain Lee Sang-min, who I believe would like to speak with you. Oh, the main screen shifted. A new face appeared, a human woman wearing a dark uniform with minimal decoration. Her expression was neutral, almost bored. Behind her the bridge of the Indomitable will showed systems and displays that looked centuries beyond throne technology. Commander Vexthal, Captain Lee said, her voice polite and professional. I am Captain Lee Sang-min. I am here to request that you stand down and withdraw from this system immediately. Vexthal stared at her, his face cycling through several shades of emotion. What is that ship? How did you build something like that? We have been building ships like this for 40 years. Commander, this one is actually from our third generation of Tatangent class vessels. We have 7 more in active service, with 3 more under construction. Impossible. Our intelligence would have detected construction on that scale. Captain Lee smiled slightly. Your intelligence detected exactly what we wanted you to detect. We showed you fusion drive cruisers and kinetic weapons because we needed to understand who in this galaxy could be trusted with the truth. The Galactic throne failed that test. Vexthal's hands clenched. You lied. You deceived the entire Galactic community. 1-1. We protected ourselves, Lee corrected. There is a difference. Now, Commander, I am asking you nicely, withdraw your fleet, return to throne space, inform your Emperor that humanity is not what he believed. Tell him we are still willing to negotiate, but only as equals. I have 50 capital ships, Vexthal shouted. You are 1 vessel, Captain. Lee's smile faded. Yes, we are 1 vessel. Please do not make us demonstrate what that means. Commander Vexthal stared at the impossible ship hanging in space before his fleet. Every instrument on his flagship was screaming warnings. The power signature alone from the human vessel exceeded the combined output of his entire armada. The readings made no sense. They violated known physics. They suggested technology that should not exist. Analysis, Vexthal demanded. His bridge crew worked frantically at their stations. Commander, our sensors are having difficulty penetrating the hull, his chief science officer reported. The material appears to absorb or redirect most active scanning. What readings we do get suggest armor plating at least 3 times denser than our best hull materials. The power core is generating energy at rates that should trigger containment failure, but their systems show perfect stability. Weapons unknown. We detect multiple launch bays and what appear to be turret emplacements, but they are not active. We cannot determine their capabilities without them firing. Vexthal's blood ran cold. A ship that size with that much power carrying weapons of unknown capability. He had 50 ships. The humans had revealed 1. What if there were more hiding under those spatial distortions on the screen? Captain Lee waited patiently. Her expression showed neither fear nor aggression. She simply looked prepared. Captain Lee, Vexthal said carefully, you claim this vessel represents human military capability. Yet humanity has operated in galactic space for 50 years, showing nothing remotely like this. Explain. Vex honors. Vex Unres Lee nodded as if expecting the question. 53 years ago, humanity detected the first signals, indicating an active galactic civilization. Our governments understood immediately that we faced a choice. We could reveal our full capabilities and likely provoke either fear or greed, or we could appear primitive and observe. We chose observation. You deliberately deceived We deliberately protected ourselves. Lee corrected, every ship humanity has operated in galactic space uses export-grade technology, real technology, functional technology, but decades behind what we actually use. We needed to understand the galactic political landscape before committing ourselves. And what did you learn? Lee's expression hardened slightly. We learned that the galactic throne conquers rather than cooperates. We learned that most species operate on principles of domination and submission. We learned that showing weakness invites exploitation. So we kept our secrets and waited to see if anyone would value partnership over power. Vexthal felt anger rising. You manipulated us, you made us underestimate you. We gave you exactly the information you demanded and never asked for more. Lee replied, your intelligence services scanned our public shipyards, they analyzed our merchant vessels, they observed our colony defenses. Everything you saw was real, you simply assumed it was everything we had. That was your mistake, not our deception. The bridge of Vexthal's flagship felt suddenly smaller. He looked at his tactical display at his 50 proud warships arrayed in perfect formation. They had seemed so powerful an hour ago. Now they looked fragile, inadequate. What do you want? Vexthal asked. Quietly, I want you to leave this system, Lee said. I want you to return to your emperor and tell him the truth about humanity. I want him to understand that we sought peace, not from weakness, but from principle. And I want him to reconsider his demands, and if I refuse, if I attack anyway, Lee sighed, then you will force me to demonstrate capabilities that I would prefer to keep theoretical. Commander, I have a crew of 800 aboard this vessel. Most of them are young. Many are on their first deep space deployment. They signed up to explore and protect, not to kill. Please do not make me order them to do something that will haunt them. Vexthal felt the weight of the decision. He was a military commander. He had orders, he had pride, he had a reputation, but he also had responsibility for the lives of 60,000 crew members spread across 50 ships. He made his choice. All ships acquire targeting locks on the human vessel. Vexthal ordered, prepare to fire. On my command. On the screen, Captain. Lee's expression fell. She looked genuinely disappointed. Commander, please reconsider. You are one ship, Vexthal said, trying to sound confident. Advanced. Yes, impressive. Yes, but you cannot fight 50 capital ships. Our combined firepower will overwhelm any defense. Surrender now, and we will show mercy. Lee closed her eyes briefly as if seeking patience. When they opened, all warmth had vanished, weapons free. Defensive posture only, do not fire. Unless fired upon, all ships fire. Vexthal commanded. 50 capital ships opened fire simultaneously. Plasma lances cut through space. Anti-air torpedoes streaked toward their target, and graviton beams bent space-time itself. The combined assault represented enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The Indomitable will sat motionless as the attack arrived. No shields flickered to life, no defensive systems activated. The vessel simply endured. Plasma impacted the hull and dissipated like water on hot stone. Antimatter torpedoes detonated against the armor plating, and the explosions washed over the surface without leaving marks. Graviton beams struck and failed to grip, sliding off whole material that somehow refused to be affected by artificial gravity manipulation. When the barrage ended, the Indomitable hung in space exactly as before. Not a single system showed damage, not one section of hull bore a scar. Vexthal's bridge fell absolutely silent. His crew stared at their displays with expressions of disbelief and horror. Science officer, Vexthal said, his voice barely a whisper, "Damn it." Assessment commander. There is no damage. Our weapons had zero effect. The hull plating appears to be constructed from something our databases do not recognize. It is not shielded. It is simply too dense and too stable for our weapons to affect. It is like we fired at a small piece of a neutron star. On the screen, Captain Lee looked directly at Vexthal. Her voice when she spoke was gentle, almost sad. "We really hoped you would reconsider, Commander." The Indomitable will's weapon systems activated. Across its hull, turrets rotated into firing positions. Launch bays opened, revealing missile tubes, and deep within the ship, systems that bent physics itself powered up with a sound that registered as a low hum across every sensor in the system. "Commander," the tactical officer said, voice shaking, "their weapons are locking on multiple targeting solutions. I count. Over 200 active weapon systems. Each one is generating more power than our main batteries." Vexthal felt ice in his veins. Captain Lee, wait. You had your chance for peace, Commander. You fired on us. Now you will learn why humanity chose patience over conquest. You will learn why we sought friends instead of demonstrating power. You will learn, and you will carry this lesson back to your Emperor. Lee turned to someone off-screen. "Fire." The Indomitable will opened fire, and the Third Royal Armada discovered what true military superiority looked like. Point defense systems tracking faster than throne sensors could follow. Intercepted every incoming projectile. Hypervelocity munitions moving at 85%. Light speed crossed the distance to targets before throne computers even registered the launch. But Captain Lee had given one critical order before firing. The targeting protocols were set to disable, not destroy. Every shot was precisely calculated to without killing. Mass driver rounds passed within meters of throne ships, and the gravitational shear from their passage tore armor plating free and collapsed. Shield emitters, directed energy weapons, hit propulsion systems with surgical precision, leaving everything else intact. Missiles deployed. Electromagnetic pulse warheads that fried electronics while leaving life support functional. In less than 30 seconds, 50 capital ships of the Third Royal Armada went from combat ready to dead in space. Engines offline, weapons disabled, shields collapsed, drifting helplessly with only life support and basic communication still functioning. Not one crew member had been killed, not one ship had been destroyed, but every vessel was completely, utterly helpless. Captain Lee's voice carried across every communication channel in the system. "Your crews are alive, Commander Vexthal. Your ships can be repaired. We did not want to kill you. We do not want to be your enemies. But you need to understand something fundamental about humanity. When we offer peace, we mean it. When we promise consequences, we mean that too." The throne room of Emperor Thoxor was in chaos. Advisors shouted over each other. Military commanders argued about impossible data. Intelligence officers frantically reviewed every file they had on Humanity searching for how they had missed something this significant, though. Emperor sat motionless on his crystalline throne, watching the holographic display, showing real-time feeds from the Third Armada. 50 proud warships drifted powerless in space around New Bushausen. A single human vessel sat among them like a predator that had proven its point. "This cannot be real," General Krell said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Our intelligence was thorough. We monitored human space for decades. They cannot have hidden technology this advanced." "They did," said quietly. "They absolutely did. The question is, what else have they hidden?" An intelligence analyst stepped forward nervously. "Your Majesty, we have been reviewing all data on humanity with new parameters, looking for what we missed, and we found discrepancies we previously dismissed. Energy consumption on Earth significantly exceeds what their visible technology should require. We detected unusual materials in their cargo, manifests that do not match any known trade goods. Several of their colony worlds have construction patterns inconsistent with their declared infrastructure. We saw all these anomalies. We dismissed them as data errors or cultural differences, but they were clues." Tyler said. "Yes, Your Majesty. Humanity has maintained two completely separate technological bases, one for external use, one for internal. Every ship that left human space was deliberately outdated. Every sensor scan of their facilities was carefully managed. They have been showing us exactly what they wanted us to see for 5 decades." General Krell slammed his fist on a console. "This is unacceptable. This is a violation of galactic norms. All species reveal their capabilities during first contact. Apparently not all species observed. How many more ships like that do they have?" The intelligence analyst consulted his data pad. "Unknown, Your Majesty. However, we have detected similar spatial distortions near 7 other human worlds in past sensor logs. We dismissed them as equipment glitches. Now we suspect they were cloaked vessels. 7 more dreadnoughts at minimum, Your Majesty. And that vessel, the Indomitable Will, is their 3rd-generation design. According to Captain Lee, they have been building these for 40 years. There could be dozens." The throne room fell silent. Every person present understood mathematics. Even if humanity only had 8 of those vessels, they represented a military capability that could challenge the entire throne fleet. If they had more, if their other warships used similar technology, what about their smaller vessels? Daxter asked. "The cruisers and frigates we have observed, we must assume those are also outdated export models, Your Majesty. Their actual military vessels probably use the same advanced technology as the dreadnought." General Krell looked at the display showing the disabled Third Armada. "How did they achieve this? Technology does not advance this rapidly. It takes centuries to develop new fundamental capabilities unless you start from a different foundation." A science advisor said. "Your Majesty, our analysts have been examining the weapon signatures from the human dreadnought. The physics involved suggest they are using quantum state processing, zero-point energy extraction, and manipulation of fundamental forces we barely understand. In theory, if humanity developed along a different technological path than the rest of galactic civilization, they would have capabilities we never Imagined. Backseller finished. They are not just advanced, they are different. They are different. A communication officer interrupted. Your Majesty, we are receiving a direct transmission from the human vessel. Captain Lee requests to speak with you. Personally, Tyler straightened on his throne, put her through. The main holographic display shifted. Captain Lee. Sang-min appeared still on the bridge of her massive warship. She looked tired, disappointed but not angry. Emperor Thaxter, she said, inclining her head slightly. I apologize that we meet under these circumstances. You disabled my entire fleet, Tyler said coldly. 50 capital ships. I disabled their weapons and propulsion, Lee corrected. All crew members are alive and unharmed. All ships can be repaired. I could have destroyed them, Your Majesty. I chose not to. You want gratitude for mercy you showed after attacking my forces? No, Your Majesty, I want you to understand that humanity never wanted this conflict. We came to your throne room asking for peace. Your ambassador dismissed us. Your general mocked us. You demanded submission. You sent a fleet to conquer our worlds. We defended ourselves. Thaxter felt the weight of truth in our words. He had been arrogant. He had assumed human weakness. He had ordered this attack. Consequences were his responsibility. Why did you hide your capabilities? He asked. Why not reveal your strength? During first contact, Lee's expression softened slightly. Because we have studied galactic history, Your Majesty. We watched how species react to superior technology. Some respond with fear and aggression. Others attempt exploitation or theft. Very few respond with genuine partnership. We wanted to identify which species valued justice over power before revealing ourselves. You were testing us. We were protecting ourselves while learning who could be trusted. The Galactic throne failed that test. You saw apparent weakness and responded with demands for submission. You proved that you only respect strength, not sovereignty. Thax felt shame and emotion he had not experienced in centuries of rule. What do you want from us now? What we always wanted, Your Majesty. Fair treatment, equal standing. Partnership instead of domination. But now those terms come with a demonstration of why they should be granted. You could destroy us. Said it was not a question, probably. Lee admitted. But we do not want to. Humanity gained nothing from revealing our capabilities except security. We would prefer to gain friends and allies. We still believe cooperation benefits everyone more than conquest. General Krell stepped forward. You expect us to trust you now, after this deception? Lee looked at the general with steady eyes. I expect you to trust evidence. We had the power to destroy your fleet. We disabled them. Instead, we had the power to conquer throne territory while your ships are scattered and vulnerable. We are not doing that. We are offering terms again with the hope that this time you will accept them as the genuine offer they have always been. Daxter stood from his throne. The entire room watched him. And if we refuse, if we mobilize our full military strength against you, then you will lose, Lee said simply, and many will die, your people and mine. For what? Pride territory. We are offering you a way forward that costs you nothing but arrogance, Your Majesty. We are offering partnership with a species that could have chosen conquest, but chose cooperation. Instead, that should tell you something about who we are. The Emperor looked at his war council, at his advisors at the displays showing his helpless fleet. He had ruled for 300 years. He had conquered 40 systems. He had never admitted weakness or error, but he had also never faced an opponent like this. An opponent that won decisively and offered peace in the same moment. An opponent that demonstrated overwhelming power and restraint simultaneously. What are your terms? Thaxter asked quietly. Lee pulled up a document on her display. Full sovereign recognition for humanity. Trade agreements on equal footing. 3 seats on the Galactic Council. Mutual defense pacts. Technology exchange. Programs with appropriate safeguards. And a formal apology for the attack on New Busalson. You ask for much. We ask for what we deserve, Your Majesty. We offer much in return. Medical technology, agricultural techniques, infrastructure, designs, and protection. The galaxy has many threats. Humanity would prefer to face them with allies rather than creating new enemies through pride. Thaxter looked at the displayed terms. They were fair, reasonable. Nothing in them suggested conquest or humiliation. They asked for equality, nothing more. I accept the Emperor said. Send your ambassadors. We will negotiate the details formally. Captain Lee smiled, and for the first time it reached her eyes. I believe this is the beginning of something better. 6 months after the incident at New Busalson, the Galactic Council chambers looked different. 3 new seats had been added to the circular assembly, positioned at equal height with all other permanent members. In those seats sat human representatives, including Ambassador Park Jae-woo, who now chaired the Council's Trade and Security Subcommittee. Emperor Thaxter watched from his position across the chamber. The human ambassador was presenting a proposal for joint patrol fleets in regions plagued by piracy. Her presentation was thorough, detailed, and included commitments of human vessels and resources. She was not asking for favors, she was offering solutions. Catherine Reach has suffered 47 attacks on merchant vessels in the past standard year, Park explained, displaying tactical maps. The raiders are using hit-and-run tactics against trade convoys. Current throne patrol coverage is insufficient due to the region's size and the speed required to respond to attacks. What do you propose? Asked Ambassador Zelvix of the Ven Commonwealth. Humanity will deploy 4 rapid response frigates to the region. We will coordinate with throne patrol vessels already stationed there. Our ships use enhanced sensor systems and can respond to distress signals within minutes instead of hours. We ask nothing in return except cooperation and data sharing, the council chamber murmured. 6 months ago, such an offer would have been seen as an attempt to project power. Now, after seeing what human power actually looked like, it was recognized for what it truly was, an offer of protection. The council accepts, Chancellor said. The throne will provide logistical support and coordinate our patrol schedules with human deployment. Park bowed her head. Thank you, Your Majesty. We will have vessels in position within 2 weeks. After the council session ended, Thaxter found himself walking with Park through the station gardens. It had become something of a routine. These informal discussions where real understanding happened. Your people adapt quickly. Observed. 6 months ago you were outsiders. Now you chair committees and deploy protection fleets. 6 months ago you Try to conquer us, Park replied. Gently, now we are allies, both sides. Adapted, Your Majesty, I underestimated. Humanity, it was a costly mistake. You assumed we were weak because we appeared. Weak, it was a natural assumption, but you learned that is what matters. Tyler stopped walking, looking at a flowering plant from his home world. I must ask you something, Ambassador. Why did humanity truly hide there? Capabilities, you said it was to identify trustworthy species, but there is more to it, is there not? Park considered the question carefully. When humanity first reached the stars, we were terrified. Your Majesty, we found a galaxy full of ancient civilizations, powerful militaries, and complex politics. We were the newcomers, the unknowns. We had two choices: announce ourselves as powerful and invite immediate threat assessment, or appear harmless and buy time to understand the galaxy. We chose time. You chose wisely. We chose survival. If we had revealed our full capabilities during first contact, every major power would have either tried to ally with us for our technology or tried to eliminate us as a threat by appearing primitive. We became invisible, unimportant beneath. Notice, it gave us 50 years to observe, learn, and prepare. Prepare for what? For being ready when someone finally noticed us and decided we were worth conquering, Park said quietly. We knew eventually someone would. The galaxy does not leave valuable territory uncontrolled. We just hoped that by the time it happened, we would understand enough to respond appropriately. Thaxter felt the weight of that strategy. You planned for this exact situation. We planned for many situations, Your Majesty. They walked in silence for a while. Eventually, Thaxter asked the question that had haunted him. How many ships like the Indomitable will do you have? Park smiled. Enough, Your Majesty. Enough to protect ourselves and our allies. That is all that matters. You will not tell me. Would you tell us the exact size and deployment of your fleet? No. Admitted. But I am curious and concerned. Do not be concerned, Your Majesty. We meant what we said. We want partners, not subjects. Every action we have taken in 6 months has demonstrated that. We patrol against pirates. We share medical technology. We offer infrastructure assistance. We protect species that cannot protect themselves. Does that look like an empire building toward conquest? No. Admitted, it looks like something else. Something the galaxy has not seen in a long time. What is that? Hope, the Emperor said softly. You give smaller species hope that power can be used for protection instead of domination. That is more dangerous to the old order than any weapon. Park laughed. Dangerous to empires built on fear, perhaps, but beneficial to everyone else. In another part of the galaxy, Governor Kim Min-soo stood on the observation deck of New Busausen's orbital station, watching ships come and go, merchant vessels, passenger liners, science ships, and military escorts moved in steady streams. The colony had grown significantly in 6 months, population increasing by 20% as humans and aliens both sought to settle in what had become the symbolic heart of humanity's emergence. Below her on the planet surface, the empty warehouses that had served as decoy targets during the battle were being converted into a museum. The Museum of Peaceful Emergence, as it was being called, would tell the story of how humanity chose patience over power. Governor, her aide said, approaching. The Indomitable will Is departing system, Captain Lee wanted. To say goodbye before she leaves, Kim turned to the communication panel. Lee's face appeared, looking exactly as composed as always behind her. Bridge crew prepared the massive vessel for transit. Captain Kim said warmly, "I hear you are finally going home for a while." Lee confirmed, "My rotation is complete. The Indomitable will remain stationed here, but under the command of my first officer, Commander Pak-Tun. He is good. He will protect New Busalson as I did. You did more than protect us, Captain. You changed the galaxy." Lee shook her head. "I fired a few warning shots, nothing more. You showed restraint when you could have shown destruction. That changed everything. The smaller species see it. They understand what it means." "What does it mean, Governor?" "It means that power does not have to corrupt. It means that strength can be used to protect the weak instead of exploiting them. You demonstrated that in 30 seconds of precise fire. The entire galaxy watched. They saw humanity. 50 warships without killing anyone. They saw us offer peace immediately after victory. That is why 17 species have requested formal diplomatic relations with Earth in the past 6 months. Lee smiled. "Perhaps, but I was just following orders, Governor. The real credit belongs to the people who chose this strategy 50 years ago, who decided humanity would be patient and careful rather than bold and aggressive. They chose wisely. They chose survival. Everything else followed from that. Joyce, the Indomitable Will's engines activated, their power signature washing across every sensor in the system. The massive vessel began moving, gliding through space with impossible grace for something so large. As it passed the orbital station, Kim watched it go with mixed feelings, pride, certainly relief that her world was safe, but also understanding of what that ship represented. Humanity had emerged. Secret was revealed. There was no going back to anonymity and invisibility. From now on, Earth would be a major power, whether they wanted to be or not. The question was what kind of power they would become. On the bridge of the Indomitable Will, Captain Lee Sang-min watched New Busan fade into the distance. She had spent 6 months stationed there, a silent guardian, protecting the world that had become the flashpoint of humanity's revelation. Now she was going home to Earth too. Family and rest. Her first officer packed. Jun stood beside her. "Captain, do you think it will last, the peace with the throne?" Lee considered the question. "I think it depends on both sides. Throne must accept that domination is no longer their only option. Humanity must remember why we chose patience in the first place, and if either side forgets, then there will be war, real war, not a demonstration or a warning shot, and that would be tragic because we proved something important at New Busalson. We proved that power does not require cruelty, that strength can coexist with mercy. If we forget that lesson, if we become what we defended against, then all of this was meaningless." Pak nodded. Slowly, "I will remember, Captain. The crew will remember. Good, because you are not just protecting New Busan now, Commander, you are protecting an idea. The idea that humanity can be strong without being cruel, powerful with being corrupt. That idea is more important than this ship, than any weapon we have built. As long as we hold to that idea, we can face anything. The Indomitable will activate its jump drive, and space folded around the massive vessel In seconds it had vanished from the new Bushausen system, leaving behind only a slight distortion in local space that faded within minutes below on the planet's surface. Construction continued on the museum. Workers carefully preserved the scorch marks on the empty warehouses where thrown weapons had struck. They would serve as reminders of the day humanity revealed itself, not with conquest, but with precision, not with slaughter, but with restraint. The galaxy had changed. The old order, built on domination and fear, was cracking. Smaller species looked to humanity with hope. Larger empires watched with weary respect, and in council chambers across known space, leaders began asking themselves an uncomfortable question: if humanity could be this powerful and still choose peace, what did that say about everyone else who had chosen otherwise? The answer to that question would shape the next era of galactic civilization. But for now, 6 months after an unknown human warship decloaked and changed everything, there was peace, fragile, uncertain peace built on mutual respect and demonstrated capability. It was not perfect, but it was a beginning, and sometimes a beginning was